Welcome to Sports Talk Around the Clock. I'm your host, Danny Drew, and we're here today with Bruce Vonderhaar, Lane Freeborn, and Dalton Mitchell. It is the NCAA March Madness edition of Sports Talk. Very exciting time of the year for everyone. I hope you at home have filled out your brackets as we are getting ready to do so right here. So we're going to start off with Mr. Vonderhaar filling out the south side, or the south region of the bracket. Top left corner, and we'll let him go with that.
Okay, we're filming this on a Wednesday, so it's the day before the tournament, so everything's legit. We'll start in the South region, and 1-16, obviously. I think everybody would agree that Kentucky's going to win that game. A lot of people probably have Kentucky winning the whole thing. Iowa State and UConn, for me, was one of the toughest first-round games to pick. UConn has 13 losses. I can't get over that. I'm going to pick Royce White and Iowa State, plus I'm a Big 12 homer till next year when I'm an SEC homer. Wichita State and VCU, I'm going to go with the Missouri Valley and pick Wichita State.
Really?
Very deep. They played 10 guys. They drilled Creighton at the end of the season. They have a 7-footer, a lot of good guards. I think they're going to be too much for VCU. Indiana and New Mexico State, I'm going to go Indiana here, although I almost picked the upset, but I went Indiana out of a very good Big Ten conference.
Even with the loss of their star guy, he blew out his ACL.
Indiana. UNLV and Colorado. Right. I'm going to take the Runnin' Rebs to pick that game. Baylor and South Dakota State. You know, I'd like to pick some upsets here, but I just cannot.
Come on, the Jackrabbits?
Baylor is playing really good basketball right now. I'm going to have them go a little ways here. Notre Dame and Xavier. Everybody's down on Xavier. Everybody's down on Notre Dame, and I know Xavier's the hot pick right here, but I'm not falling for it. Trust me on this one, Notre Dame is going to beat Xavier. I've seen Xavier play a lot. They're not very good. Duke and Lehigh, I'm going to pick, obviously, Duke in that game. We'll go to the second round in just a minute, but we are in the West now, and Lane is going to do the West.
I'll be picking the West. And, of course, 1-16 seed, I'm going to go with Michigan State.
No way.
Not a chance. This one, for me, was one of the toughest to pick. These are both great teams, but I think Memphis just has a little more experience, a little more athletic. I'm going to go with Memphis.
Over St. Louis. Wow.
St. Louis University,
The
Billikens.
Billikens.
That's right.
Rick and Jarris, come on. Go ahead.
Memphis. New Mexico, and I just think that they're just going to be a little bit too much, so I'm going to go with New Mexico in this game. Villanova and Davidson.
That's Louisville.
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
I think Villanova made the tournament.
I think one of the stars in this tournament is going to be Peyton Siva for Louisville, so I think he's really going to lead his team. I'm going to go with Louisville here. The next game is Murray State and Colorado State. I think Murray State is going to be one of those surprise teams in the tournament, so I'm going to pick them here, and I have them going pretty far.
Murray State is surprised. They have 2 losses.
I think they got 1 loss.
Do they only have 1 loss?
Yeah, but they lost to Tennessee State.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I get that. Sorry.
Stop interrupting me.
Continue, Lane.
Marquette and BYU. BYU just had a big win last night, but I think Marquette is a very, very good team and a lot better than BYU.
I guess that's why you picked them.
Yep.
That's right.
Florida, their three-point shooting is just ridiculous. I think it's going to be way too much for Virginia. So I have Florida in this game. And then, of course, Missouri and Norfolk State. I'm going to go with Mizzou.
Norfolk State.
No doubt.
Go ahead.
We're going to go on the East with Danny Druin. He'll be picking the East.
Hello, I'll be picking the East. Thank you. I feel like a lot of people at home are sitting here watching this show and saying, I really disagree with a lot of the things that they're saying. And I guess that's why everyone gets to fill out their own brackets, and that's what makes March Madness so exciting and so much fun. So I'm going to start us off in the East here with Syracuse. Syracuse star player Fab Melo. He is suspended for the duration of the NCAA tournament, which is ineligible. I mean, it stinks. I think he went to Pittsburgh instead of going to a basketball game. So really, what do you expect? Sounds like just some sort of behavior issues. It's bad, though, for Syracuse because he is a stud athlete. But against UNC Asheville, I'm going to have to take Syracuse.
They could play you at center. It wouldn't matter.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think that I'm better than Fat Mello. So, K-State versus Southern Mississippi. I saw K-State play a couple games against Mizzou that really impressed me. That really impressed me. And unlike Bruce Vanderhaar and his picks, I believe that K-State, they have the size and they can just like play the duration of the game. They
It's a 30-minute show.
We might be here for a while. We might be here for a while.
Mizzou, my point being that they beat down Mizzou, and Mizzou played the whole game with them, but in the end, K-State was just too much. So I'm going to take K-State over Southern Mississippi. So.
I thought you were
Is
going to pick
anyone going to pick
Southern
a low
Miss there
seed?
for a second.
Nobody's going to take a low
Never had a
seed.
low seed picked yet.
Vanderbilt versus Harvard. I'm going to go ahead and take Vanderbilt, especially after that SEC Conference Championship. They played outstanding against Kentucky, and beating a team like Kentucky of that caliber is huge. So Wisconsin versus Montana. I'm just going to take Montana, and I'm going to say it right here. I know absolutely nothing about Montana basketball, but I really hope that they beat Wisconsin. So
Wisconsin has problems scoring, so that's not a bad pick, actually.
oh well,
I
thanks.
wouldn't pick it, but I mean,
Why wouldn't you pick it?
Well,
has a little-
Wisconsin's
Montana.
battle tested. They're battle tested.
They are, and they play in a better conference.
could-
but
I
I
think
would
they're-
like I not necessarily. This pick just kind of represents a low seed being
understand.
picked above a high seed. Finally, somebody kind of going outside,
Sure.
testing the waters
There
a
you
little
go.
bit, being unsafe in their
Going out
picks.
on a limb, that's
So
good.
that's right. Cincinnati versus Texas. I'm going to have to take Cincinnati just because of the way that they've been playing recently. They played great in their tournament, and they were just exciting to watch. So Florida State versus Bonaventure. Bonaventure, that's right.
Nobody knows.
They won the Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament.
They won the Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament. You
Again.
heard it first from Bruce Vanderhaar.
That's why they're
Against St. Louis.
Against
well, no, they beat
St. Louis and then
in the
in the
semis.
semifinals, yeah.
They beat Xavier. No,
I don't even
Oh,
know.
yes, it was.
Don't look at me.
Was it Xavier?
it was
They
Xavier.
beat Xavier in the finals. Yeah.
So I don't really care about them. I'm going to take Florida State.
Florida State's hot.
Very
Florida
good
State,
team
yes.
right now.
Florida.
Very-
I've watched Florida State upset a lot of good teams in Duke.
Beat Duke.
They beat Duke
beat
twice.
twice
Yes.
and North Carolina
I
twice.
watched those
So-
games.
Yes, they've obviously
Legit.
have the they can play at that caliber, play at that level. So I think they'll be an awesome team to watch throughout the tournament. Gonzaga versus West Virginia.
This
I'm
one's
just-
tough. This
I'm,
one's
Yeah.
tough.
It is. I'm just going to take West Virginia though, because I don't know really a whole lot about Gonzaga. If you would like to elaborate on
No,
that,
I mean-
you definitely could. But Gonzaga basketball, I mean, they've had a history of just you never hear about Gonzaga in any other sport besides basketball. So you'd like to see them do well in the tournament and keep advancing. But West Virginia comes from just a bigger, better conference, and I feel
They're coming
that
over the Big 12 next
Yeah.
year.
yes, which is exciting.
For football.
Yes, I guess. So
Two teams that are well coached. It'll be a good game.
It will be a good game, and I would really like to see West Virginia pull it out in the future.
I think
Big
West
12.
Virginia's Kevin Jones will be the difference in that game. He's their best player by far.
Ohio State versus Loyola.
Loyola.
You're going to think a lot about this?
Take them.
You know, I sat in my room and contemplated Loyola for hours, just going over their bench and their
Hours?
depth and their strength of schedule. And I really do feel that Loyola is the better team, and that
You're out of your
Ohio
mind.
State. No, just kidding. I'm taking Ohio State. Sullinger, huge, big, awesome. It's going to be very difficult for Loyola to stop them. So I will shut up now, and I will give Dalton Mitchell the marker.
Good job, Danny.
Oh, man. In the Midwest, here's Dalton Mitchell.
Before I even start, let me say that I probably know less than all these guys about college basketball, but I'm just going to go for it.
I'm sure your picks will reflect that.
Yeah.
Definitely. North Carolina's playing either Lamar or Vermont. I'm taking North Carolina.
Doesn't really matter.
Next game, Creighton and Alabama. I watched Creighton play, I believe, one game this year, and I'm going to pick Creighton because they're an 8 seed and Alabama's a 9 seed. I promise as we go down, I'll get to know a little bit
That's
more.
going to be an awesome matchup.
Creighton's good.
Yeah.
Creighton's a really good team.
Coming from the
Dermot.
Missouri Valley Conference, playing Missouri State every season, I mean, you got to be good if you're playing Mo State.
That's right.
Temple. I watched Temple play a couple games this year. They're a pretty good team. They're pretty solid scoring.
Got good guards.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take them. USF that was kind of a cool story this year because they almost got into the tournament And then they're in this play-in game, which is kind of a cool story. But I still think Temple's going to be too big for either of those teams. After that, Michigan and Ohio. Picking Michigan.
Attaboy.
San Diego State and North Carolina State. San Diego State, I believe, really big defense this year. If I've read anything about them, pretty solid defense. Is going to be too much for North Carolina State.
I got NC State.
Yeah, I got NC State there.
Oh, you guys are cool. I'm making the picks.
In the Midwest,
Well, when they're
this
wrong.
is your guy right here.
Down here, Georgetown's playing Belmont. Might have to go to Georgetown there. St. Mary's and Purdue. I picked Purdue here. Don't ask me why. I did watch St. Mary's play a couple games this year. They look pretty solid, but I just feel like Purdue's maybe played a little bit better competition this year. They're going to be more ready for this tournament.
Yeah,
So I'm
Purdue's a
going
good
with
team.
them. Yeah, Purdue's definitely.
Big Ten's
Yeah.
a very strong conference.
And I love Purdue. I love Matt
Yeah.
Painter.
Yeah.
He's a great coach.
I like the way they play. And Kansas and Detroit. Kansas, everyone knows Kansas, always a big powerhouse in basketball.
2-15.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2/15. It's
Detroit's got 2 NBA players on that team.
If you want to watch a 2 and
Just
15
keep that
matchup like that you think the 15 might win, it's definitely that game. Detroit's a very good team, but
Now, do you guys want to switch brackets, or do you want to pick the same brackets?
I definitely want to pick the same.
You want to
bracket.
pick the same?
I'll switch it up. I'd take
I'll
the
switch.
East.
Let's
That'd be
switch
nice.
just to make it interesting.
Well, I guess since this is the Bruce Vonderhaar show, we'll
right.
switch. Sounds good.
So what's
So,
doesn't
who's-
matter.
Hey,
You still
Bruce
on
Vonderhaar, you take it.
I want to take the West.
Oh, you take the West then.
Okay.
Start us off in the West,
All right,
my
I'm gonna take
friend.
the West. We'll be
I'll
on
take
this
the
camera
South.
lane. If you can get out of the way, that'd be great.
I thought we were
Awesome.
switching
Okay.
sides. I didn't know.
I'm going to take the West here. We'll just mix things up. And even though I didn't make these picks, I may not necessarily agree with them, but I'll pick with what we have here.
Okay.
Michigan State, I actually had SLU playing Michigan State, but regardless of who they're playing, I had Michigan State going. That's a nice one. I had
Vonderhaar's thinking about going back to school.
Michigan State going to the Sweet 16 in that game. New Mexico and Louisville. I did have this matchup, and I have the Lobos of New
Wow,
Really?
really?
Whatever.
going
Why?
to. Well, because
What
they've won.
world?
I don't know, because they've won 27 games this year. How about that? Okay.
He's
The
getting
Lobos.
fiery
Louisville
Vonderhaar.
plays in the Big East.
Now you guys aren't
My
gonna.
goodness.
You got. Yeah. So you're a big fan of the Big East, are you? I'm not. I think Big East is overrated. Okay.
Basketball?
Yeah, I do. You make your picks. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Um,
At least we're my
Now,
picks,
you guys
so.
are going to disagree with this. Murray State and Marquette. I think Murray State's going to be a surprise. Somebody mentioned that earlier. It might have been you.
It was me.
But I'm going to go
I picked
Murray
that
State.
bracket,
And this is an upset. But you have to pick upsets.
I picked Murray State.
I'm going to go Murray State over Marquette here. Okay? And you guys. Yeah,
A
that
lot
is
of people
interesting.
would contemplate that they don't have the size to be a big tournament team.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
But I guess Vonderhaar wants to see him go far, so we'll let it in this fantasy world.
And then Mizzou and Florida,
Wax on.
this game as a Mizzou fan scares me. I will say this, though. Florida does not have a post presence. They don't throw the ball inside. Like you said earlier, they're a very perimeter-oriented team. So I don't think they're going to – Bradley Beal is a guy who's their best player. He's from St. Louis. Actually came down to Mizzou in Florida where he was going to go to college. So that's an interesting matchup. But Mizzou can handle Florida. They're not like a Baylor or a Kansas State who's just outsizes Mizzou. So Mizzou's going to advance to the Sweet 16 by beating Florida. So moving on to the Sweet 16, Michigan State, New Mexico, Murray State, and Mizzou out of the West. Who wants to do the South?
I'll take the
Wanna do
South. I think I know a little bit more about this one. I didn't have this
Nasty.
matchup. I had UConn here. Iowa State definitely improved a lot this year. I wasn't terribly high on them, though. Either way,
You're right here.
I feel like Kentucky's going to win this game just because they're Kentucky, and they're really, really good this year. Down here we got Wichita State and Indiana. A lot of people had VCU there just because they're VCU. That's VCU's been really good the last few
Virginia
years.
Just 'cause everybody's so high on Shaka Smart. I mean,
Yeah,
He's a good coach.
he's going to be the next coach at Illinois,
Yeah.
by the way, too. But,
Really?
I mean, let's jump off the bandwagon here.
think so?
Wichita State's going to win that game. Yeah, yeah, he's the next coach at Illinois.
Okay.
Have they been
Don't.
recruiting him?
Take that to the bank.
Take that to the bank. Cash.
Down here we got UNLV and Baylor. I just feel like Baylor's too big of a team. They're going to be too big of a team until they get to a really good team like Duke. So I'm going with Baylor down here.
Baylor, if they play up to their potential, they can go
Yeah,
very far.
Baylor's,
Oh,
yeah,
They've just been
they're
so
definitely really good.
inconsistent this season.
Notre Dame and Duke. I did have Notre Dame losing. You're talking about everyone being kind of down on Notre Dame. I had them losing in the first round to Xavier. So I believe even more now that Duke will advance past this round. And now we're going to move it to the East
Lane Freeborn.
for Lane Freeborn.
Even without Fab Melo, I know a lot of people have made this pick now that K-State's gonna, win over Syracuse. But in my opinion, I still think they have just a lot of talent on their team. A very mixed, type of offense. They can run the floor and they can get it in low. They're gonna miss that a little bit without Fab Melo, but I still think they're a lot better team than K-State is.
I have K-State in that game.
I think a lot of people.
Just for the record.
I think a lot of people had K-State there even before Fab Melo was
Is this your
suspended.
bracket?
I just want to make it quick. On
Is this
tape.
like your
Cumulative.
entire? You want to fill
You
up the whole
guys
thing?
ripped me
Blondie?
for my picks. I'm going to return the favor.
That's because you ripped me because I picked that first. So,
What?
Vandy and Montana. I don't think I ever would have picked Montana here, but so that makes it an easier road for Vandy. They'll definitely win that game.
Who did you have on your bracket in this game? Did you?
Wisconsin and Vandy, and I still had Vandy.
You still had Vandy.
Yeah. Next, Cincy and Florida State. This is a really good matchup because both these teams are playing, very hard, and I think Florida State has the edge. So I'm going to give it to Florida State. In West Virginia, Ohio State. West Virginia is a good team, but Jared Sullinger is a man, man among boys.
You'll fix that out.
Thank you.
So
Sure that isn't
for
Oklahoma
the Sweet
State?
I love
16
watching
out of the
everyone right
East,
off
I'll
the
have
board.
Syracuse, Vandy, Florida State, Ohio State.
Okay.
So.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid picks.
All right,
Danny?
we're gonna
Except for Syracuse.
go down to the Midwest.
All right.
Just a little shout out here. If any of you are interested in watching some awesome collegiate wrestling, this weekend is the NCAA National Tournament for Wrestling. Just kind of going to advertise
We'll
that
fill
a
their
little
bracket
bit.
out next show.
Yes, exactly. We've got NCAA wrestling brackets on here.
And Danny's the only one who knows anything.
Go Pokes.
That show will star Danny Druid.
Yes, that's right.
Nobody else.
North Carolina versus Creighton. Again, Creighton coming out of the Missouri Valley Conference. I just don't feel like they play the level of competition. I mean, I know Missouri State, just ridiculous athletes, just amazing program. So
You're high on Missouri State.
it's a tough pick. But I'm gonna go ahead and choose UNC in this matchup. So I'm gonna give it to North Carolina. Temple versus Michigan. I am a Michigan fan. I'd like to see Michigan do well in this tournament, especially because I feel like they have the talent and they have the ability. If they can put it together and they can get a run going, they're going to be able to advance fairly far into the tournament. So I'd like to see Michigan win this game.
They won the Big Ten. I mean, they shared the title.
I think Trey Burke's the key to their success. If he plays well,
Definitely.
I think the whole team kind of plays well.
You're a Temple guy, though, aren't you? You have Temple in this game? No?
You're a big Temple
Who was
fan.
high
I
on Temple?
thought.
Were you high on Temple?
Yes,
D-Mitch,
I was.
he said
one.
he was a big Temple fan.
Okay.
Go Owls.
San Diego State,
In
Georgetown.
Oh, I thought that said O-Town. I was like,
O-Town.
is
You
this?
have two.
San Diego State. The San Diego State head coach coached at Michigan.
Fisher.
Yes, John Fisher.
So they win
Steve
automatically.
Fisher. I don't know why I said John Fisher. Is there John Fisher?
There's probably
that
John
goes to
Fisher.
There's a
High
John
school?
Fisher that
Probably
goes
John
to
Fisher
Yeah,
in San Diego.
just down the hall. I'm sure there is a John Fisher in San Diego. But I'm going to go ahead and stop and just give it to San Diego State
Wow.
right
You
here.
gotta be kidding.
Attaboy.
over Georgetown.
SU. You know, I've
Definitely
never
a
thought a
Georgetown
whole
guy.
lot of Georgetown, especially because it looks like O-Town. So
That's his reason.
Get rid of him.
That's a good reason.
we don't need them. Purdue and Kansas. Whew,
It's going to be a war.
it's going to be a war. I'm going to go
I
ahead.
just don't like Kansas.
I feel like Bill Self will have that team geared, ready to go for the tournament. He does every year. They're just going to come to the tournament with something like a chip on their shoulder, ready to play some basketball, not winning that Big 12 championship. And I feel like Kansas is going to pull it out in this one.
Kansas is always ready for
You
the
gotta be
tournament,
kidding
unless
me.
they play Northern Illinois.
That's right.
Northern Iowa.
Oh, it was
Iowa.
Iowa, I believe. I'm
Kansas
sorry.
lost in the first round 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was bad.
It's unfortunate.
Well, that was good for me. I enjoyed it.
It'd be a national holiday if it happened again. That'd be great.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I
we
would
going
like to see.
So we're down
KU
to
not do anything.
We're now on the
16
Picking
teams.
the 8.
Sweet 16.
Who's going?
You want to go first, Danny? Pick one.
You know, I feel like I don't deserve to go first
Oh.
because based
No,
on my
you're gonna go-
knowledge of this, so
Okay.
I'm going to give it over
You want me to
Devontae,
go first?
you can go
What
first.
region you
and
guys want me to pick here?
I want
Yeah,
you
it's
to
your
pick.
it's your pick.
Where do you want?
Something that's going to be a little. I don't want to pick. If I pick KU's region, I'm going to have them losing. So I want people. I will say this: the KU fans always
gosh.
say that this
These
is a,
KU fans these days.
that this
Anybody
is-
that's not
I'm
a
a
Missouri,
Missouri
fan,
fan.
is just
No.
an idiot.
Let me just get this out. That this is a rebuilding year for KU is the biggest joke. I've ever
T-Rob,
heard.
is he a
T-Rob,
rebuild? He's
yeah,
a
exactly.
stud
This is
return.
going to be the player of the
Tyshawn
year.
Taylor,
And you've got Tyshawn
Elijah
Taylor, and it's a
Johnson.
rebuilding year? Come on.
Yeah,
That's
that is
a
ridiculous.
joke.
So if you're a KU fan and you
Excuses.
think it's a rebuilding year,
Excuses.
then no, it's not.
Okay, let's. I've picked the South and the
passion.
West, so I'll just go to the East. Okay, and I'm going to step over here.
You
guys
can
wanna
come
sit
on
close?
over.
I'll come right here. Okay, so Syracuse and Vanderbilt. I actually had K-State beating Syracuse, and then I had Vandy beating K-State. So I'm
Good
going to
job.
go ahead and,
I think
no matter who would have been here, I was going to pick them over. Syracuse wasn't going to be here, so I'm going to take.
Syracuse is going to be there, but I still think Vandy's going to win.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I think Syracuse
It's going to
is-
be Harvard and K-State.
with
I
Fab
think
Melo
people
out,
are
it's-
putting a little bit of too much stock into Fab Melo.
Well, I mean, I think I probably had them losing anyway. I don't have all the 1 seeds in the Final Four. Okay, Florida State and Ohio State.
Ohio State, man.
Listen, you want to talk about Jared Sullinger all you want. He's a great player. And the Big Ten is a really good conference. I understand that.
But yeah.
So much of what your picks have to be is teams that are playing really well right now. And Florida State is playing really well right
That's I have them.
Uh,
That's a part of my bracket. That's my bracket.
now. I'm going to take
That's my
Florida
bracket.
State advancing as well. So I've got Vanderbilt and Florida State. So the 1 seed in this region is
man,
gone. So I've
The
got
2 seed in
Vanderbilt.
the region is gone.
Yeah,
That's 1 and
Vanderbilt.
2.
And which is a 5 seed, and Florida State, which is a 3 seed,
Danny, what you got, man?
Hand this
going to
over
the
him.
Elite 8.
Elite Eight. Wow. Imagine being able to play in a game with such high stakes, the Elite Eight. So exciting. And I'm sure San Diego State's going to be so excited for the opportunity to play in the Elite Eight, and they're going to be jacked. They're going to come out, and they're going to be so excited to beat the Kansas Jayhawks. But they're not going to be able to do it because Kansas is really good. So
I like how you're saying gonna, like this is
it's going to happen. I mean, what
like we're a bunch of deities.
we know
ESPN.
what's going to happen.
Deities.
Deities. KU.
Good word,
Gonna
huh?
win that game. UNC versus Michigan. I believe that UNC is just gonna. They're a powerhouse basketball team, and they year after year they come with something to play for, and it's one of those things that it's a tough pick because Michigan has been playing well as of lately, and I'm going to go ahead and take UNC in this one, just because they've had so much more experience in the tournament, and I feel like they're going to be ready to go. So
Okay, these guys are going to pick the South and the West.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna,
my
I'm
friend.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish up this West, the Elite Eight. Right here we got Michigan State, New Mexico. I actually had I had Louisville coming out of here. People call me crazy. I have Louisville coming out of here beating Michigan State. But in this scenario, I feel like Michigan State's a lot better team than New Mexico, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in our Elite Eight. And down here, Mizzou's playing Murray State.
Mizzou, all day.
Definitely Mizzou. I have Mizzou in my Final Four. I think
you
they're.
guys are crazy. Just kidding.
I feel like there's a lot of teams down here that play a similar style to Mizzou.
It's true.
But Mizzou's, out of all the teams in the country that play that like high speed
Four guard-
offensive
or
game.
four,
4 deep.
Yeah.
I'll say Mizzou has a real advantage, I think. Now, they may lose in the second round. I don't know, having said this. But teams that haven't played Mizzou are at such a disadvantage
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd agree with
that I think they could make a run in the tournament just for that reason.
I'll be picking the South.
Will you now?
Dalton had Michigan State and Mizzou going to the Elite Eight. Up here in Kentucky and Wichita State, I had Wichita State losing back in this round, or back in the first round of ECU. So I definitely have Kentucky here, and Kentucky is the best team in the nation right now, no doubt. Here,
That's why they
Baylor
got
and
one
Duke.
seed.
I think
Unless
Baylor.
you're Vanderbilt.
I think Baylor's going to come out in the tournament and play very motivated. Everybody's been really talking down on them this year, with good reason. But I think they're going to play out, with a chip on their shoulder, and I have them beating Duke. I think that's going to be a very good game too. So,
Okay, why don't you just stay up there? And
stay
the
up there,
Elite
yeah.
Eight, we can just talk amongst ourselves. We have about 3 minutes left. So Kentucky and Baylor. Does anybody think Baylor is going to beat Kentucky?
No way.
Anybody?
Kentucky's.
I don't believe
Ah,
so.
I don't either.
Kentucky's going to be way too
So
strong.
we
here.
got Kentucky in the Final Four. That's pretty easy.
Oh, not up there.
Good thing I got an eraser though.
Okay, so now
You can keep
In
it.
the West, we have Michigan State and Missouri in the regional finals there.
I think Mizzou's got it. I think they're just too fast.
Michigan
too
State's
much
a
speed.
really good team with that. They've won the.
I don't know. I feel like Tom Izzo. He's
Tom
gonna-
Izzo, Tom
he's
Izzo
an
is definitely one of the
incredible
best
coach, and he's
coaches
gonna-
in college basketball.
Draymond Green's a great player. I just got to give it to Mizzou. What about you guys?
I dislike
I'd
Mizzou
like to-
a lot, but I
I'd
still
like
would
to
give
see
it to
Michigan State win this game.
Well, who do you think's going to win? I don't care who you want to win.
I.
them. Yeah, Lane.
Jeez. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go hide in this corner now. I believe that Michigan State is going to pull out the victory.
Okay, I think you're outnumbered. I just think Missouri, part of this is destiny,
I got
and I
Missouri.
think their
I got
guards
Mizzou
are
in the
way
same.
too good. I'm going to pick Missouri.
I
Mizzou
think
it
Mizzou's
is.
gonna be. I think Mizzou's gonna be too
Got
fast
3
for
minutes.
just about
Okay,
anybody.
we got
if they
plenty
play.
of time here. Yeah, I agree. Sorry.
Oh, man.
All right, in the East, Vanderbilt and Florida State. What do you guys think?
I'm
I
actually,
just-
Wisconsin.
I just think Florida State's
I'm
just
actually excited for the Midwest.
playing.
That's what.
I think this is going to be a great game, but I think Florida State's got it. I think they're just playing way too well right now.
Out of those two teams, I
just
definitely
a
have to pick
hot,
Florida
hot
State.
team.
And in my bracket, I had Vanderbilt going this far, but I'm a little nervous about seeing them in the Elite Eight. I just don't know if they're that good. Even though I have them going this far, their matchups are pretty good. I just think their magic's going to run out here. Florida State's playing so well.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
Florida
hard
State's
to pick
playing
against
great
Florida
basketball.
I would definitely have to agree with you guys there. So we're going to
You
go
forgot the Y on your Kentucky.
Florida State. Why on that Kentucky?
Kentucky,
Kentucky. And then
UNC, and KU.
UNC and KU.
Oh, let's all watch Vonderhaar bleed from the eyes when he
I
makes
don't.
this
There's
pick.
no way I have KU in the Elite Eight. There's no way that's going to
They're
happen.
not that good of a team, you don't think?
I think.
No, I think they're a good team.
I think they're a talented team. I think they're going to make it this way, and as much as it pains me to say, UNC has just been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
They have been.
Getting blown out by Florida State like they
Yeah.
did, KU's been, played very well, showed a lot of talent all season. I mean, one loss to Mizzou.
When North Carolina's healthy and everybody's in,
But-
they're talented.
That's
as
you-
anybody
well,
can
North
think.
Carolina, they have a great team, but with all that inconsistency, I feel like they have the most they're the most beatable one seed in the tournament.
Exactly.
And
in
playing
my
a team
opinion.
like Kansas
So-
I
that's
don't
that
think
strong
so.
inside.
I hate to say it.
Who do you
but
got,
I-
Lane?
I got KU.
Who you got?
Kansas.
I've got North Carolina.
I've got Kansas.
Oh my gosh.
We're taking KU.
That makes
It is sickening to see.
sick.
Oof.
KU. So this is our final four: Kentucky, Missouri, Florida State, and Kansas University. If you don't like it, we are so sorry. It is time for the national championship. It's April 2nd. Who do you guys believe is going
So
to
we have
be the
Florida
national
State
champion?
against Kansas. Let's do that one first.
I'm down.
You
Florida
guys-
State.
these
Florida
games,
State.
Final four games.
Definitely Florida State. Sorry, KU.
I got Kansas.
who's your
I have
pick?
Kansas in my national championship game in my bracket.
I hate Kansas, but I also hate Vonderhaar, so I'm going KU.
Wait. It's 2-2.
It's 2-2.
You just can't go and pick one. We got somebody. Nick Duke, what do you think in this game? All right, pick
All right,
Florida
we're
State.
going
State.
FSU.
We
Florida
needed a
State it is.
tiebreaker. We
No
needed
way.
a tiebreaker.
FSU.
All right,
No
now
way.
we have Kentucky and Missouri.
Kentucky's
just
too good.
That'd be
Such
an
a
awesome
hard
game to
matchup.
watch. Awesome
Kentucky
game to watch.
undisputed.
Kentucky's too
they're
good.
just so
Absolutely.
good.
You can't ignore what they've done. Like, they're good.
But I still have Mizzou. I don't care.
Oh
I'm
my
a
gosh.
Mizzou fan.
I'm a Mizzou fan, but Kentucky.
Come
I'm
on.
not a Mizzou
Come on.
fan, and
Believe
Mizzou's a
in
great
something,
team.
Vonderhaar.
I've got him in the final game.
Believe in
of course
something.
I believe. What do you think?
I got Mizzou.
Oh my goodness.
2-2.
I got Kentucky.
Lucas. You
Lucas
got it.
Lucas Waltz.
Lucas Wald.
Lucas
Here we
Waltz.
go. Come on.
Kentucky and Missouri.
Pick Kentucky. Yes.
Kentucky.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
So-
Wildcats.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds here.
Well,
So
we got
Kentucky,
Florida State is
Florida State.
kind of a Cinderella here through all this.
Kentucky
Um,
is the best team in college basketball.
But there is going to be no David and Goliath. Kentucky will
My
win.
vote is Kentucky.
Kentucky's just
Kentucky?
too
Unanimous
good.
Kentucky.
Anthony
Except
Davis.
Danny's going to pick Florida
Except
State.
I love Florida State, and I've always been a huge Seminoles fan.
It's too bad 3-1.
All right, fair enough. We're going to give it to Kentucky, the 1 seed national champs.
And we'll leave this up there and we'll grade ourselves as we go.
All right, I'm fine with that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't be surprised at all when this is exactly how the NCAA tournament turns out.
Yep, that's right.
I'm going to give, it's hard to give a winner of the show, but I feel like Bruce Vonderhaar is extremely informed, knows what he's talking about. He hates KU, and he really likes Missouri, and that's fine with me.
I even think Montana's going to beat Wisconsin. Good job, man. That was a great
Yes.
thing.
Have I ever
That's
won a
some good
show?
stuff right there.
No, you haven't. You're a loser.
Nope, Dalton will never, ever win a show, ever. So on that note, thank you so much for watching, and we are excited to view this awesome tournament. Take it easy.